Welcome back to my channel, guys, and let's talk about PayPal stock. It's fallen from $308 to now $72, and there's a huge bear case behind this company that people aren't talking about. However, it is extremely undervalued and the numbers behind it are extremely strong, but I'm going to break down just the bear case today and exactly why PayPal stock has fallen so much. Now, I just thought I'd let you know, guys, that I've recently opened a Patreon account, so if you want to get the full scoop of my real valuation for PayPal, make sure to join and I'll be able to break through portfolios and let you know exactly what I value PayPal for the long term. Let's talk about the chart of PayPal now, because it's fallen from $308 all the way down to $72 as of today. It hit a low of around the $60 mark, but it's recently fallen from value from around the $300 billion mark to now only $80 billion. So let's see actually behind the numbers and whether or not this is actually justified or whether or not it was just extremely overvalued back in 2021 and 2020. And it's just fallen down because of macroeconomic reasons rather than actual business case reasons. Now, to quickly overview the numbers of PayPal, let's take a look into their income statement, which we can see that their revenue has gone from 15 billion in 2018 to now 28 billion. And if we consider that the stock price is now trading back down at the 2018 levels, we can see that revenue has almost doubled, yet the stock price hasn't even moved. And then if we look further down and we probably take a look at their net income, I'm expecting that actually we can see they've only really increased that revenue from 2 billion to 2.7 billion. But in 2021, we can see it's hit a 4 billion range. And that probably explains a little bit behind why the actual numbers and why the stock price has been hit so heavily just from face value. Clearly, their net income has decreased, which is obviously expanding the actual estimates in terms of what their PE is and what their free cash flow generation to actual stock price is. Now, this is the first case in which I think PayPal has a huge bear case behind it. And I believe the numbers of the actual business analysts are actually far too high still for PayPal. If we take a look at their net income, and these are actual estimates which have been guided for PayPal. So we can see here that the revenue range, I believe, is personally very reasonable. However, when we scroll a little bit further down and take a look at the net income, we're expecting to apparently hit 5.5 billion in net income this year. And then you add that on with actual 2024 numbers and you're looking at $6 billion. And it's the same when we take a look at the free cash flow range as well. We can see that they're estimated to do around $6 to $7 billion in free cash flow. And I think those numbers are far too high. And there's a lot of other factors which I think will not help PayPal's case in terms of delivering to the analyst targets. And this will put pressure potentially on PayPal stock. Now, if PayPal can actually hit these numbers, clearly the stock will be absolutely massive. And it wouldn't surprise me if this stock ends up being a $300 stock. But you have to actually tell yourself, do you think they can actually hit these numbers? And what actual pretenses allows you to think that they will? And that's something for you to decide. I will be doing a bull case on PayPal, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you can catch that as well. Now let's talk about my second bear case, which I haven't seen anything on. I've watched a lot of videos of PayPal, and yet I've seen barely anyone talking about this. And I think it's actually a huge reason why PayPal stock may not be doing anything for the next 6 months. And that is the fact that the CEO, Dan Schulman, is to leave at the end of 2023. And maybe many people are thinking this has been priced in. However, I definitely don't think it's been priced in yet. We need to still understand who the new CEO is. And this could potentially be a good thing or a bad thing. It's very difficult to decide because as we don't know how, who's going to take over. But I think this is a huge reason in what could determine PayPal's potential stock performance in the next 6 months to 2 years. And I think this is where the new vision comes in and their new strategy to drive that growth and potentially fend off the competition, which clearly is another bear case, which I'll talk about next. Now, I think when we talk about Dan Schulman, he's clearly done an extremely good job. And I think the expectations of PayPal are that the new CEO needs to come in and deliver just like he has. And I think that's some big expectations because, as we can see, obviously their revenue has been absolutely massive, and their net income has had huge implications in producing great cash flow, in which they've been able to acquire great businesses like Venmo and Braintree, which are obviously two integral parts to PayPal's revenue drivers in the future. So that needs to be intertwined with the new CEO, and he needs to deliver new growth strategies that are going to enable PayPal to be that big payment system that we all know and love, that is going to be sticky and also going to be intertwined in everyday people's lives. Now let's get into my next bear case, because again, no one's talking about this, and yet I still think it's a very important part to why PayPal hasn't been performing over the last probably year, to be honest. And that's the fact that PayPal last September decided that they were going to charge customers for misinformation, and they were going to charge around $2,500 in damages if there was misinformation from an individual. And that sent the stock absolutely plummeting. And this is a reason where, Elon Musk and also the former CEO of PayPal heavily criticized this. And this is another reason which PayPal is a little bit unsure on in terms of where they stand with the whole misinformation thing. They did quickly revise this point, but it's something that should still be considered in the bear case for PayPal, in my opinion, because it's a potential, strategy where PayPal clearly weren't thinking straight, and management clearly got it very wrong in terms of what they were going to do for this particular thing, in terms of fining people for misinformation. Now let's talk probably the largest and the biggest point when it comes to PayPal, and that's the competition. Now, I know that's a very generalized thing because in every industry there is competition. However, PayPal could potentially be hit the hardest with some of the largest competitors in business. And why I think this company is potentially undervalued and potentially also why it's struggled so much is because it's in a race to the bottom environment. And that essentially means that people are looking to undercut each other's prices. And I'm sure a lot of people understand that PayPal's fees are much higher than a lot of other competitors. Then when you add companies like WePay, Google Pay, Skrill, Apple Pay is coming in now. People are also talking about the FedNow scheme coming in and potentially, overlapping PayPal. Then there leaves a huge question on if PayPal's business model is sticky enough to keep driving that revenue and potentially fend off all the competition that's actually affecting PayPal's revenue. So I think in summary, when looking at all the different bear cases for PayPal, you could probably decide which ones are most significant and which are not. When we consider most significant, you're probably thinking about competition. You're looking at that race to the bottom where margins could potentially be compressed, which could potentially dwindle the net income and the free cash flow generation of this business. And that could then lead into the whole analyst numbers being brought down, which puts more pressure on PayPal stock itself. However, when we consider other bear cases like the CEO leaving, this could potentially be a bull case. If we get a new CEO come in who's extremely experienced in the financial payment space, and they come in with a great strategy to drive revenue, drive those margins higher, make the business more sticky, we could potentially see a very quick turnaround in the stock. However, this is all ifs and buts. It could also go the other way. We could get someone who doesn't have a great vision for the business. We could have a bad executor come in. It's all very unknown, and we've got to wait until the end of 2023 to fully understand what that actual is going to look like for the future of 2024 and beyond when the new CEO comes in. Then on top of that, you also add the misinformation problem that PayPal had. Now, obviously, this is resolved as of last year, but it's still just a factor to include into buying this business. Are management really executing to the right point? Will the new CEO come in and deliver that growth? I don't know. This is up to you to decide, but I'm just here to inform you guys of all the facts and collating them together for you guys to make your decision. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share with some friends. I'll be doing a bull case for PayPal as well, so make sure to stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.